My mama tried to suck it to me, tell me how to live. Dun 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 dun. I don't know the rest of that. That's a badass song. Cheech and Chong, man. Rest in peace. They're not even dead. Um, yeah, I'm pumped to bring you episode 7. I just had dinner and I'm so full right now. And uh, it was orange chicken, man, on a bed of fried rice, not white rice. That shit's whack. And all you motherfuckers that eat white rice are whack. I'm just kidding. I'm just fat. And man, I watched The Town. Have you guys seen the movie The Town with Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, and a whole bunch of other people with shit? Who's the guy? Oh, John Hamm. John Hamm from Mad Men. Yeah, that motherfucker's dope in that movie too. Um, but Jeremy Renner's fucking sick, and he goes out shooting at the end, man. Um, that's a good fucking movie, dude. That makes me talk like a Boston bastard, man. You know what I'm saying? And I only say bastard because I hate the Boston Celtics as fucking cocksuckers, man. I hate the Boston Celtics. There's no team in the world that's worse. The only time I rooted for them was when Isaiah Thomas was on the team and he was having like a fucking stellar season, and then his sister passed away, and they were in the playoffs, and I forgot who. I think the Clippers, and I hate the Clippers too. So I rooted for the Boston Celtics. Only time I ever did. But yeah, man, I fucking hate the Celtics. I don't like them at all. I'm a Laker fan, man. You gotta stay true to your roots. But anyways, so I talk like a Boston dude after I watch that movie every time. Uh, the part, the part about them cracking some Puerto Rican dudes in that, like, I don't know if it's a project or what. They were fucking around with Ben Affleck's lady, and he just rolls up and tells him, like, hey, man, you gotta help me with something. You can never ask me about it. You can never ask me about it in the future. Don't, no questions, alright? The only thing the guy says, Jeremy Renner tells Ben Affleck, is, whose car we taking? That's it. I've had moments like that though, man. No bullshit. JB, JB, the dude I'm always talking about, he'll know. Man, we've had some crazy encounters like that, man. Where okay, so I won't tell the full story, but there is like a love interest involved, and we thought, or she, oh no, you know what? She needed help with something because she was dealing with some type of male family member that was being like a real dickhead, and she asked JB to help, and then JB asked me, and we just went, and I don't remember much from that night, but I do remember we went far. Did we go far? Anaheim, Anacrime. I don't know, but I feel like we went to some meth ass place, dog. And but I don't really remember much. Um, but that part always reminds me of JB. Um, today, yeah. Anyways, today is April 9th, the 2020, and it's still goddamn raining in California, dude. It's been raining for like 3 days straight. It just keeps dripping everywhere. But we can't go outside, so it makes it like easier to stay inside. I wish I had a heater. Maybe I'll make a fire in the apartment. Maybe. But we're still in the middle of the coronavirus and the lockdown and all that shit. Um, I don't know what's gonna happen. People are broke. People are tired, dude. The unemployment rates are ridiculous. I think something like 6.3 million applied yesterday or something. I believe like they've outgrown like 12 million in applicants due to this coronavirus. You got to think of all the different industries this lockdown affects, and all just the different branches of those industries that it affects. It's a trip, man. But I know Trump is trying to get some like stuff passed where we can get like construction workers or freeway workers back to like building infrastructure since everything's down. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was driving from Chino to Whittier, and no bullshit, it takes me like 25, 30 minutes at most. From Chino to Whittier, man, like 36 miles, dude. It's a trip. There's no traffic. But I was just thinking, like, we should use that time to rebuild our infrastructure. Never, ever gonna be another time. Well, there might be. Who knows? This whole virus thing has everybody fucked up right now. Everybody's fucked up. Scientists are trying to figure it out. They're fucked up. President's trying to figure it out. He's fucked up. Fucking Biden is gonna be the majority running candidate for the Democrats. Well, it's another 4 years of Trump for sure. But the the campaign is gonna be funny as fuck because Trump's gonna go off on him, and he's never gonna win unless he buys it somehow in some illegal way. He gets it, but that dude, he can't talk and he creeps me out. Those compilation videos of him like being gross around kids and being creepy old Bob. Why come here? I'm, I'm the vice president. I'll send you to China to work with my son. Whoever his fucking son was making money and shit, and son was cashing those Biden checks, man. Yo, my dad work here, dog. Where's my check at? If you ever watch Horrible Bosses, there's Colin Farrell plays like a cokehead in there, and he's fucking good, dude. He's like in the bathroom forever doing coke, and his dad's fucking knocking on the door, and he has him come out. That's the third time he went to the bathroom. Oh, I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to go pee-pee or poo-poo, Dad. You and your little butt buddy telling his dad that shit. Oh, man. That's funny as fuck. But, everything's crazy right now. People, like, everything grosses me out, dude. People just gross me out. I can't go to the grocery store. I don't want Walmart. I can't go in there. I haven't been in one for a minute, so, and I don't have coronavirus, so I'm doing pretty good. But fuck it, dude. You can use this time to read something, read anything. You can read about fucking anything, dude. You can read about shit that helps you improve your life, or you can get into some Emily Dickinson on some very, very insightful poetry. Or just look up Emily Dickinson online. Go through Wikipedia. You know, I think growing up in my era, they always said Wikipedia is the worst because nobody monitored that shit. Okay, but that was like fucking 15 years ago and shit. Things change, you know. There's a ton more in place that you need to have before you can even like get verified to edit those documents. But whatever, dude. Don't go to Wikipedia. Go fucking buy a web. Go buy your shit. I don't know. Go to eNotes. Dip back into that college mentality. You know what I'm saying? Go to those study guides. Yeah, book summaries. If you don't want to read the motherfucker, fuck it. Go to the summary. Learn the key plot points. Learn what it's trying to tell you and apply it to yourself. That's the only thing. I'm trying to get into audiobooks. Yeah, I want to get into audiobooks because I get tired reading sometimes. Like, I just get sleepy and shit. But I'm trying to get into audiobooks. But, dude, I've read some crazy shit in my life. One of the first books I read was Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. I was like 15 years old. The book's like this fucking fat. I have it like in storage or some shit. But Hitler, he used that book to plan out Germany's rise. And, but it was basically the rise back from his bitch ass failure in Berlin, I think, where he tried to overthrow the government. But this was like in World War I, Yeah, I don't know. I can't really remember that much, but I never knew until college. But this dude, he embellished his upbringing and purposely left out like certain facts that would deter from his agenda. So, if there was something about his past that would make him look closer to being um, closer to the Jewish faith, he would remove from his life. Although it happened, he would never document it. What a trip, huh? I didn't know that shit. Um, and the dude wrote that book in prison. You got to understand that he wasn't the Hitler that we all know now. He wasn't that Hitler at the time he wrote this book. He was just a punk ass inmate with the stupid ass fucking name, writing on some crumble and slightly decayed paper. He's a fucking idiot. He tried to. I think he was beaten up by the Bavarian government for a failed overthrow, and he just got his ass kicked. But you know what, man? He didn't use that time to like dwell and quit. That motherfucker developed his plan, dog. Trip. Adolf fucking Hitler, and he wrote it all in a book, right? So, trip this. I'll get into the book a little bit. He published it about 1925, but it didn't top the charts until 1930. So, right as America was showing those early oncoming sets of or signs of depression, hitting the Depression era, that's when, or the Great Depression, I'm sorry, um, that's when the book really hit. So it hits the States with a translated version, all right? But the Nazi government retracted a ton of shit before it was approved. So before it even left Nazi land, they looked it over. They took out anything that showed the plan that was to take over the world, and then they gave it to the Americas. And then trip this: the publisher that put Mein Kampf out in America was Houghton Mifflin, not Dunder Mifflin, not this. That's a dope ass shirt though. No, Houghton Mifflin. This publisher was on every single fucking textbook in high school and college for me. It's that little red one. Oh no, that's the McGraw one. I don't know, but it says Houghton Mifflin somewhere. And that was the publisher that put that book out. Trip, dude. I could go on about this text, but I just wanted to give you a tiny bit of insight to a new segment that I want to introduce. Um, I'm an enthusiast for great literature and poetry, and I want to share this with you. Um, Without further ado, oh no, wait. Uh, so trip this. A lot of scholars believe that much ado about nothing, or much ado. I forgot that fucking poem by Shakespeare. But ado, they almost referred it to like cunnilingus, man. Yeah, no bullshit. Look it up. Just type that in. Well, don't type in that, but ado in like an inappropriate um, translation, and see what you find. All kinds of weird shit, dude. Serious, like real scholars. Um, Look it up though. Anyways, the segment I'm gonna introduce to you guys is going to be segment one. Sorry, I'm trying to get to like 14 minutes. Writers we want to hang with. All right? So in this segment, I want to talk about like writers or authors or all kinds of weird shit about literature, and maybe you might want to hang with them. I might. So hopefully we do, dude. So let me tell you about one. His name is Olaf Stapledon. So it's if those that want to follow it, type it in. Olaf is Olaf, and then Stapledon is Stapledon. Stapledon. That's how I'm gonna say it now. Pull up the Wikipedia and check this fucking dude out. He's a trip, dog. So he was born in the UK and he graduated from the University of Oxford, which is like the mecca of colleges. There's no other greater college than the University of Oxford. It's like fucking old as fuck. It dates back to like the 1200s or some shit. So he graduated with that, with a bachelor's, dude, in modern history. That was back in 1909, right? So what, 111 years ago. Um, Heading into World War One, he growing up in the UK. I think he was in France now. He was a conscientious objector. Conscientious objector. Um, I didn't know what that was. I really had to look that shit up. I've heard of it before, but I couldn't really put the term to it, or the definition to it. So, for those who don't know, a conscientious objector, objectors are people that say no to performing military services because they believe in the freedom of thought and consciousness, um, conscientiousness, however you want to fucking pronounce it. But they were basically all about freedom. Like, fuck that. Why am I gonna fight this shit? You guys are idiots. Like, there's no reason we can't talk this out. It's how believe they thought. So he drove an ambulance instead, in France and Belgium from like 1915 to like 1920 and shit. So homeboy, he became a pacifist. Did not just no fighting. That's it. He didn't believe in it, and he was an advocate of a world government. He got his PhD, and he stuck to that for years, dude, for years. And then later in life, usually, or I'm sorry, around World War II, so I'd say like 1945 ish. Um, he said, "Fuck pacifism." He wasn't gonna be a pacifist anymore. He said, "Fuck that." During World War II, and he supported the war efforts of America and our allies at that time because he saw the German Nazi government come up. He saw Hitler coming up, and he's like, "Nah, fuck that. That's not right. What's happening there is not right." So after the war, he became uh, involved with an anti-apartheid, uh, which what they did was they fought institutional segregation up until fucking the 1990s, dude. They they it was, but it's all basically in like West Africa up to Europe or some shit, um, that they still fought racism, racial segregation in a lot of those countries up until like 1995 or something. A trip, man. But anyways, so that motherfucker, he was involved with like a ton of social movements globally. When he wasn't doing that shit, he wrote books. And the one thing I'm thinking we can fucking he'd be dope to hang out with is because he wrote a book called Star Maker. Uh, and this dude would go on like DMT trips, dude, or he'd take like some psilocybin, some shit, dude, and he'd go on on a trip, and he basically in this book, he explained the story of a man who basically met the man who created the cosmos, God, right, aka the Star Maker. That was the name of the book, and Olaf describes this Star Maker, the creator, as like a bright light, brighter than all the suns in the entire universe, and that it was so overwhelming and so bright that it it was more powerful than anything he's seen in our world, and it's like that's a fucking trip, dude. So he ends up talking to God and shit, and but he doesn't ask him the core questions about like who am I, what's the universe about, right? Um, I was reading a scholarly report that put out he couldn't finish the book because his trip ended, and or he couldn't finish those questions because his fucking trip ended, and he couldn't get that high again. He had to take like a what are those, a tea break, you know, uh, to build up your immunity. Not even build up your immunity, your tolerance. Take a tolerance break, and he took a break from it, and then he wrote another book. So another fucking trip of the book is called Odd John. If you get a chance, type that into Google. Look at the picture that comes up, dude. It's a fucking trip. Yeah, and he was it was like an introduction to um, an indestructible person, like basically Superman. Um, it was basically an introduction of a the theory of Superman in a world of perfection, or imperfection. I'm sorry, in a world of imperfection, somebody perfect. So he goes through a whole like journey of obstacles and weird ass shit, and he ends up like talking to all these different beings, but he's like the weird one. So he's thinking that he's in a place that. So the whole book is like, it's a trip because I lost the narrator when I tried to read it. I didn't finish reading that fucking book, and it's been forever. But fuck, dude, I totally forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, you know what I was doing, dude? I was looking at this fucking picture. Look at this picture, dude. Ah, John, look how weird it looks. I like that writing though. It's a dope ass text. Look at his eyes though. It kind of looks like me. Look at him. He looks like me. What? That dude is me. I'm gonna die. Anyways, Olaf Stapledon, dude. Fucking check him out. It's a trip. Maybe you might want to do some DMT with them. Get super high and see if you meet God with them. What? Be fucking dope. One of these days. Moving motherfucking on. We're jamming to the next segment. Um, Segment number 2. Life experience time. I'm gonna have glitter next time, motherfuckers. It just like shimmer down, dog. This one's gonna be a trip, dude. Alright, this story is a trip. So one time I got fiberglass all over my ass and my back. My bare ass, my bare back. Let me tell you how this came, okay? So I was going to Rio Hondo College, community college. Rio Hondo Community College in Whittier, and I was like in my late teens, and I think I was just like a confused motherfucker, right? I couldn't figure out the fact that you can go to school and nobody was gonna monitor if you're fucking there or not, you know? My parents didn't know my fucking classes, so what the hell? I just told them I was in school from like 10 to fucking like 7 and shit. Sometimes I got there at 10, sometimes I didn't, dude. Nobody was like, it was my first year. I just completely fucked off. Exploratory year, that's what they call it. But I literally only took classes that sounded cool, and to be honest, at that time, um, you couldn't register. Like if you're an incoming freshman, you couldn't register until like all the regular students from last year registered. So that meant like all the classes were filled, or you had to waitlist it, or you had to go up in that fucking class and hope that somebody didn't show up that day, and that shit sucks. And Rio Hondo was always fucking crowded and crazy packed, dog. Always, always, man. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. And then they remodified that whole fucking school after I left. Every fucking school did that. Cal High, same thing. Fucking South Whittier, same thing. Fucking McKibben Elementary, same thing. Modified. So much better after me. Give a fuck. Fuck them. They didn't want me there anyways. So yeah, I was on campus trying to drink and party with people, dude. Like at any time in the day, dude. Any time in the day, I was like trying to fucking just drink, party it up, dude. I was so confused on what I thought it was to be cool and shit. And I wanted to be that hard ass dude drinking brews on campus and shit, sitting off his tailgate. Like, what's up, dude? And I'd stop at that Circle K on the corner of Beverly and Pickering, dude, and I'd go in there and buy a 3 pack of Tall Boys, dude. That's all it took for me to get twisted. And I'd bring them to Rio, man. And usually I'd find somebody that I'd fucking hang out with and drink with or something. Um, and they never carded me because I had gray hair and shit. So I don't have much hair now, but I have gray hair like a motherfucker. And I had gray hair when I was 19. Dude, I got my first gray hair when I was 16. What's up? I used to dye that shit, dude. Looking like a fucking Lego. That's what my friend Steve would call me, Lego. Or he'd call me Mickey Mouse ears. Because his mom was a hairdresser and she knew how to dye it. My mom, she tried to dye it, but I got black paint all over me. I look like the dad from the Addams Family and shit. I had a peak that I didn't even have a real peak. You know what I'm saying? It was a painted on peak. Shit. Pink Pete, they would call me. Pink Rudy. I'm just kidding. But oh yeah, so I'd bring my Tall Boys right to Rio, and one time I one time I drank vodka in my buddy's truck. I won't say his name, but we drank it straight out the bottle, dude. And I fucking hate hard liquor. I don't like hard liquor, dude. It's gross. The only hard liquor I've ever liked was Jameson. That shit was good. No hangover, dude. If you only drank Jameson, you're straight. But once I drink too much Jameson, I'd lose my mind. And I was on antidepressants, and I don't know what else was in my system. But anyways, I fucking hate hard liquor, especially alcohol, especially vodka. My friends let me die in a car when I drank a fifth of vodka because they didn't dare me to drive. I'm just kidding. That's like an old Eminem thing. But one time I drank a fifth of vodka, and we went to a party. Actually, they went to a party, and I was like dead in the car. But they checked on me. JB checked on me. Steve checked on me. I think there were other people. I can't remember. Nor did I want to. They left me on the pavement. I was like dead, dude. I couldn't see anything. Anyways, back to Rio Hondo. So I met this girl. Goddamn, dude. I can't remember her name, but she grew up near somewhere in Whittier, and we met in like the quad with like a group of friends and shit. And so, goddamn, I can't remember the group of people, but we didn't have classes together, so it was fucking awesome. You know, I didn't want to hang out with somebody I had classes with all the time and shit. Even guys, like I don't want to see this guy fucking 8 hours a day. I don't even like him. You know. I didn't even like myself at the time. Fuck, do I want to be around anyone? Anyways, I was looking to be around people when I was drinking. So, in school, I was drinking all over campus, and I found a girl that wanted to drink with me, so I was like, fuck it, dude, it was a match made in hell right there, baby. And we ended up drinking like every day, dude, for a week straight in the parking lot of Rio Hondo, dude, sitting on the tailgate of my truck. And I had I had a truck with a tunnel cover on it, right? And for those who don't know, a tunnel cover is like just the thing that goes over the bed of the truck. And mine was like that fiberglass one that went up like this, you know, like with the little springs and shit. But it was all fiberglass underneath and shit, right? Like raw fiberglass, dude. So we used to just drink and pound beers, and you know, one thing led to another, and we ended up in the tunnel cover, and we closed the tunnel cover, and I had my shirt off for some reason, and due to those antics, my bare fucking bag and my bare ass was on the roof of the fucking tunnel cover, dude, and which was made fully out of fiberglass, and I was itching like a motherfucker the entire day, dude. I left, right? So this was before a 10 o'clock class, dude, on like a Tuesday, right? So I go into my 10 o'clock class. I had class from 10 to 7 with like an hour break. So I'm in class and I'm fucking scratching my ass and my back like a goddamn bear in the chair, dude. I finally like get out of my first class. I'm scratching in the bathroom stall. You know, I must have looked like I was fucking doing something nasty in there, dude. So I'm scratching my ass, dude. And I fucking get out and I look in the mirror, dude. I'm all like cut up, fucking scratching so hard, dude. I'm all fucking cut up. Like my ass has like little scratch marks on it, like little kids were scratching at me or something. So, dude, I was fucking pissed, dude. I couldn't sit on a toilet for like, I don't know, dude. It fucking long time. But that fiberglass fucked my whole day up, dude. It makes my ass kind of itch right now, dude. Don't ever do that. And it must have been on there for a little bit, but I went to class, dude, and I think I had like fiberglass chips probably all up on me. And I was just scratching, dude. I looked like a hype the whole day. I had my backpack real low, covering my white pants I was wearing. I was in all white that day. I'm just kidding. I wasn't in all white. But the whole story was fucking true, dude. The whole fucking story was true. I don't know what I learned from it, but it was a life experience. Don't do that again. That's for goddamn sure. Um, segment 3. Don't be a douche. I think I did this segment on the last part too. I'm gonna do it again because we're in the middle of this bullshit. But recently, like, well, I'll explain. Look, people are racist and they're prejudiced out there in this world. And trust me, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it firsthand from the hand of prejudice. Like, I've seen it come out of the mouth. Like, I can't say I've encountered blatant racism against myself, but I do have family members that have felt like the effects of racism by the white race or even the black race. I shouldn't say even the, because it's possible for any race to be racist. But growing up Mexican, man, I can speak about my experience. You hear some of the daily rants from family members and shit about specific races and stereotypes, and it sucks sometimes, dude, because it's really just handed down from generation to generation, dude. Racism is, you're not born with that shit. You learn it. You pick it up, even subconsciously. You pick it up from your parents, and you gotta make peace with that, and you gotta make a change. So if you're willing to make the change, make it. If not, then you're gonna fall in the same footsteps, and don't be a fucking complainer then. And don't say racism doesn't exist, because it does. Alright, don't be a fucking idiot. Anyways. So, I was talking to my neighbor the other day, right? And we noticed like a piece of trash blowing by. And I've talked to this guy more than a handful of times, right? He's been a chill dude. Like, I think we're probably around the same age. I know he's like a 909 white boy, though. Kind of like bro-ish, you know, which is okay. That's cool, dude. But so we see this trash blowing, and he says to me, "Fucking blacks don't throw their trash away ever. Always leaving their shit behind." And I looked at him like, "Motherfucker, you're in Chino, dog. Be saying that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you?" But that was going on in my head. I just looked at him like, "What?" And I was just so caught off guard. Like, I don't consider that guy my friend. He was just a dude. He didn't even know my last name, dog. I don't even think he knows my first name. We just say what's up to each other, ask each other like how it's been around here, and that's it. But however, he felt so comfortable enough he can make a racist remark without any type of hesitation. Like, damn, you let that shit just spew out, dog. And I asked him, like, how do you know black folk left that by the trash, dude? And he's like, "Oh, I saw this black dude throw this trash away, or his trash away the other day, and, like, the bag ripped. And he didn't even bother to, like, pick up the trash and shit." Like, dude, what the fuck, right? So oh, wait, where am I at? Oh, goddamn, it's cold. So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go upstairs to my black wife, dude, and I left. I was like, "Ah, I'm just kidding, man." And I didn't like check his reaction. I just fucking left, dude. But I just said I was just kidding, like took off walking. But when I really reflect on that situation, it makes me ask a few questions. Like, do I look like a racist? That was my first thought. Like, do I look like a racist? So why did he feel so comfortable that he would speak to me as if he expected me to agree with him? There was an expectation of an agreement. Is it because of the way I look, what I'm wearing, how I walk, how I talk, how I dress? I don't know, and that shit was just it made me question that. And is racism? Another question was: is racism just accepted ignorance? Meaning, do we just accept a person's ignorance and title it racism because they choose not to explore maybe the reasons or the things that affect a person? You know, if you're, I think people hate what they do not have in front of them, and they hate what they don't understand. People use very small and very, very ridiculous situations with race, and they generalize them as all, right? So, for example, this dude, this dude that I talked to, my neighbor, he saw a black dude be lazy with his trash, right? In his head, he feels all black people are lazy then. That type of generalization is what my family and some friends have always done. Like, I don't know why people do that shit. I get it. I get it. Sometimes you might have a bad encounter with someone of a different race than you. But don't fucking generalize. Don't turn your face and speak ill of people in that race just because those people decided to do that. Don't fucking do that shit, man. Don't use all. I hate when people say the word all. Don't generalize like that. I've met the most enduring black folks ever. I've had African American coworkers that outwork me 10 to 1, dude. Do I consider all black folk harder workers than Mexicans? No. Do I consider them lazier than Mexicans? No. I am choosing to believe there is a larger percent of people in between. It does not have to be the either or. There's a spectrum. I choose to be in that spectrum. And racism and being prejudiced, they make a choice. And those ones that make a choice to be that way, they're usually the ones that freak out when they're called a racist or a prejudiced person. They're the ones freaking out, you know. But they made that choice. So what I'd like to say with this story is don't be a douche and don't generalize, especially off other people's stories. I could have used that story and been like, oh yeah, this motherfucker saw a bunch of black people dropping trash everywhere. Now my story changes, then it gets passed on, and I bring it in my household. Fuck all that shit, dog. Don't hit me with that noise. You know, just because you had a bad experience with some other person, don't fucking generalize. Don't be a bitch, dog. I hate that shit. If you hate me. But don't come at me like all Mexicans are bad just because I robbed you or something like that. We're not. You know what I'm saying? But that's the end of that segment. And I kind of want to close it off with what's going to be happening next week. Or next week. Tomorrow. I'm going to have my first guest. My first guest. Who can possibly be like a guest co-host, but I want to have him on as a guest. I want him to feel comfortable. I want him to just be able to have a good time. I won't express who it is, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's not going to be in person like I was hoping we could do, but we're going to make it work. This coronavirus is fucked with everything right now, so we're going to make it work. Tune in tomorrow. I'm going to try to get it up and out tomorrow, but it might come out on Saturday or some shit. Alright, peace and love to everyone. If you want to follow me on the Everyday Guy podcast. On this video, there's gonna be like shit you can click on and links and shit to follow me. Hey, dude, I didn't smoke a stoke this whole episode. Hell yeah, go Rudy. But tomorrow, I'm probably gonna smoke a ton of stokes because my next guest or my first guest is wild, and I definitely want him to feel like he can still be wild and still be crazy. All right, peace out. My mama tried to suck it to me, tell me how to live. Dun 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 dun. I don't know the rest of that song. Gotta get that. Cheech and Chong Forever Dog.